Hey, Steve Mignani here at High Octane Classics in Auburn, Massachusetts with a 1993 Chevy C1500. Let's call this one a sport truck. You know, sport trucks and sport compact trucks are something that kind of came out of Southern California in the 1970s, where people would take a half-ton or even a quarter-ton pickup truck and customize it, taking it fully away from the workplace and bringing it closer to being a cruiser. And the beauty of trucks is they have rear-wheel drive, they got V8 engines, and they're kind of have performance built into them, whereas a lot of front-wheel drive cars are kind of harder to work on. So while a lot of people like passenger cars, sport trucks like this heavily modified C1500 have a huge following. Now, what makes a sport truck? Well, first you start with a popular pickup truck like the Chevy C Series, which are perhaps, well, the second best-selling trucks in the United States. The F-Series Fords are #1, have been for a long time, but everybody loves a pickup truck. But when you take it from good to better, that's when it becomes a sport truck. On this one, we have a lot of molding done, a cowl induction style hood that's molded into the steel hood from the factory with some louvers sort of built in. And this one was done by a fellow named Rolly Fernandez, a Florida customizer, and he definitely entered some shows with this. We see this right here. The sticker is the International Show Car Association, ISCA, so that's a sticker you get generally when you join the ISCA. They've been around since the 1970s, put on car shows all over the country. But again, making a good thing better, it's nice how custom trucks like this will often include Corvette cues, like these C8 wheels, which are actually from a brand new 2020 up mid-engine Corvette, with a proper spacer. They go right on, similar bolt pattern. Disc brakes front and rear. And it's cool too, the front fender has been modified with some gills right here to break it away from the flock, if you will. And tinted windows, of course, very much part of the sport truck theme. The bed, the shorter the better, generally speaking, half tons, short bed 6-footers are more svelte, maybe than the 8-footers, less workmanlike. With that said, this one's been nicely modified with molded in flares and a ducktail spoiler on the back. That's not bolt-on, this is molded in. Very nice work on that. Another detail too is customizing the body, getting rid of the corner taillights and replacing them with a rear lower valance with Corvette, again, inspired brake lights and tail lights on it. Just nice work. And again, sport trucks, there's a whole culture to these. And when car magazines were a thing, there was a whole bunch of magazines devoted to sport trucks, Truckin' Magazine, etc. So these are a big deal. You know, not every car has to be a Nova, Camaro, or a Chevelle or a Corvette. Trucks have their place too. And just like a Nova or a Chevelle or a Corvette or a Camaro, there's plenty of power under the hood. Let's have a look. And I love the stance on this one. It sits mean and low. Let's pop that hood. And you gotta love how the front grille and bumper have been matched to the body with the same shade of blue paint. Not something that Chevrolet ever did, probably should have, but it looks great here. And yes, under the hood, a pretty heavily modified small block. Now, 1993 still would have had a basic Chevy small block. The LS1 engine family wouldn't come for a few more years. So with that said, this is a small block Chevy, but it's far from stock. This one is a stroker, 383 cubic inches, has aluminum Brodix cylinder heads. And the beauty of the aluminum heads is they have larger ports and valves. They're probably half the weight of the iron heads. It has aluminum intake manifold with a Carter or an Edelbrock 4-barrel carburetor. Custom air cleaner, kind of a must-have if you want to enter the show circuit. Again, details. The judges like to see small things that all add up to big things, including the radiator supports these devices here, these billet aluminum pieces with caps over the fasteners. That's show car stuff, sport truck stuff, and it looks good. Like the air conditioner here with a serpentine, that's all factory stuff, but it works great and it hides in plain sight. Of course, set of Hedman headers right there help to exhaust the gases from that 383. So this truck probably has close to 350 horsepower, maybe even more. So the power of a Corvette, but the utility of a pickup truck. Now let's look inside. As a self-respecting sport truck, there's a lot of detail paid to the interior as there is to the outside. Of course, we have the standard console in the middle, the bucket seats, but if we look a little closer, we see lots of little details, like The tin work on the door panels here kind of looks like an NHRA Pro Stocker. Now, this is the kind of stuff right here that at the car show, the judges pay attention to, and that's actually positive points toward a trophy, if that's what you're in for. We also see aftermarket gauges up on the dash panel right there, color coordinated. Those things are not Chevy stock. And the steering wheel is a billet aluminum piece right here. Again, these things sort of blend in harmoniously with the original upholstery and interior to give a sport truck vibe inside as well as out. Yeah, sport trucks, the interior, the exterior, the performance capabilities, and a little bit of Corvette mixed in. Now, the great thing about this truck is that it's not stock, as we saw under the hood, and the sound of this engine has to be heard to be believed. It's a mean animal. Stick around to the end of the video, in other words, just a few seconds from right now, to hear this sport truck, this 383-powered 93 Chevy C15 fire up and rev. It's worth waiting for. To learn more about this truck, check it out on the High Octane Classics website.